Welcome one, welcome all, and thank you for joining us for this session here of No Finance, No Romance. I am Naaman Haig with the ever glowing, and we're so glad to have this opportunity to be with you, to share with you, and to engage with you in the area, in the arena of relationships.
Yes.
So, thank you again for joining us, and we just want to encourage you to just have an ear to listen and to really perceive how this word affects you, where it hits you, how you dwell with this. So, as you can see on the screen, today we're going to be dealing with appreciation and kind of staying on the same theme, that we've been working from here recently, becoming an expert on appreciation. When people know that you truly appreciate or you're thankful for what they offer, for what they do, for what they give, for what they yield, for what they produce, how they help you, how they aid you, how they are really a force for good in your life.
Yes.
When they feel appreciated, it helps them continue to stay in that same vein. And it also helps them want to stick close to you. And I want to throw this out there especially for married couples, for those engaged, for those in relationships. Make sure you appreciate the one you're with, because the last thing they need to think or begin to think is, you know what, I'd be better off with somebody else. I'd be better off going in a different direction. Because when you feel unappreciated, you feel like everything that you do gets stopped, gets denied, gets blocked, gets rejected. So appreciation attracts, unappreciation repels. That's really the simplest way to look at it. One is going to draw someone, whether you want to say like a sweet aroma or like a magnet, or even like a pulley. It's just going to just allow them to come closer. But when you're dealing with unappreciated, underappreciated, it makes them feel like, why should I suggest anything? All you're going to do is reject it. Why should I talk to you about this? All you're going to do is blow it off. And it has a negative tone and effect. And honestly, it is so easy for couples to get caught up in the everyday grind, the everyday happenings, get caught up in life, that sometimes you forget to appreciate the one that you're with. You forget the significance that they've had in helping you get to where you are and even to where you're going. It's not that it's intentional that you're putting other things in front of them and even in front of their feelings, but it's just, well, right now I feel like this is taking precedence, or this is something I have to deal with right here, right now, in this moment. So it's like superseding the relevance and the importance of the one I'm with. Prime example, especially for those who have been married and you've kind of gotten a pattern of life. So what happens? You go to the mailbox. You start going through the mail. And then what do you see? Bam, bam, bam. 2-3 bills in a row. It's that time of the month. They're due. So what happens? The focus becomes about the bills. And if things are tight, if there are things you may have to juggle, or plans you may have to change as a result of trying to stay within your budget, just to make sure that the things that you truly need are taken care of. So the discussion is going to move towards the bills. So where are we spending the money? Where can we cut back on the money? How do we handle the money? What are we purposing to do with our money? That becomes the focus of the conversation. And then a lot of times, and I won't say it's always true, but a lot of times, as a result of the focus being changed, then that becomes the driving force for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. So instead of connecting with one another, it's connecting with the bills. Mm-hmm. And the bills have taken the place of just even the ability to just love.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just simply. And love doesn't mean necessarily physically coming together, mm-hmm. but just taking a moment, and even if in that moment, just hold hands. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just embrace. Yes. It's not overdrawn. Okay, I got to take her out, and we got to go out, and then we maybe catch a movie or go dancing or go to the spot. It's sometimes just the little things that begin to get omitted and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because of a lack of appreciation. When was the last time you looked at your mate and said, thank you? Just right there, period. Just thank you. Now, if you want to take it a step further, start listing before them the reasons you're thankful for them. I appreciate the way that you love, because in my heart, it's irreplaceable. I appreciate just your consistency. I appreciate how you handle the kids for all of the stuff they do, but yet and still, I appreciate who you are. I appreciate your beauty. I appreciate your heart. I'm not going to get on the physical side. I'm just going to, when I say beauty, I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to leave that alone. But I appreciate your work ethic. I appreciate how you handle people. I appreciate just how, and I'm seeing it more and more, how you stand up for yourself. And you just, there was a time where it felt like she just going to let people just, but that time is past. That time is gone. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that. I appreciate your walk with Christ. I appreciate how well you hear. I appreciate your drive and desire to become more affluent in what you hear, how you interpret, and how you move based upon what the Lord is giving you and leading you toward.
Make sure y'all doing this with your spouses, okay? Don't be just looking at us.
But
I appreciate you too, baby, and just who you are, the unique individual that you are. I appreciate you just being yourself. That I really do appreciate that. No matter what other people are doing, you're just you, and you're comfortable with you just being you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the father that you are. I appreciate the husband that you are, the friend that you are. I appreciate just how you provide for us. I appreciate your relationships and how you are in your relationships, just other relationships. I appreciate just you. And I'm going to keep it PG.
I felt that all in my toes. Tingly. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But there's that old adage you had as a kid. Sticks and stones may break my bones. But words hurt. Yes. But words can help.
Yes.
Words can heal.
Yeah, I was hear that too. Yes. Yeah.
Words can also demonstrate the heart. Yeah. My grandmother used to say something that she told obviously my father, but he relayed it and conveyed it to us. And sometimes it's not one of the simplest things you can do to really get somebody's attention and let you know that you're thinking of them. Send them a card, send them a letter. I mean, sometimes just out the clear blue, send a text, send an email, send a I thank you note, letter, an appreciative act. And the thing is, it's not always about cost. We get so caught up in, okay, well, in order for it to mean something, I have to pay so much. Nobody's requesting you or requiring you to go to the jewelry store, take out a loan, and get the biggest whatever you can. But sometimes it's consistent action, consistent words, consistent time. Where do we put our efforts? Where do we put our time? What are we investing in? Are we investing in one another? Are we engaging with one another? So is it, okay, we've determined we're going to have time. So that time, hey, I'm watching the game. I know we're supposed to be having time together, but I'm really into the game and not paying close attention to you. Oh, Jesus.
Yes, Lord.
Jesus. Sometimes I know we see it on the commercials and it's a joke, but sometimes the phones just need to be put away, turned off, and locked up.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
Sometimes it's almost as if, you know what, we want to have a date and we're staying home. Guess what? Lock the phones in the car. Put it, the phones, the tablets, the whatever device it is that you come up with, put it away. Engage. Interact.
Yes.
That's why sometimes it's good to go out, because it forces you to not be on your phone. Yeah, in some cases, because some people, they'll be on a date. But appreciation. I mean, and it's not limited just to your mate, because sometimes date night, you know what? Appreciate the babysitter. Appreciate suggestions and ideas from people who have been able to help you, to encourage you. Maybe it's, oh, I never heard about that place, or I never thought about going there. A food or dish, whether you fix it or you pick it up from somewhere, you know what? Appreciate the information that was shared that has given you this opportunity to experience.
Yes.
Yes, appreciation is thanksgiving. And a thankful heart is a grateful heart. That heart is one that people can see and sense and know that I care about what you've given me, what you're showing me, and what you're doing. Earnestly. Because we've seen that fake stuff. And it's just like, okay, yeah, whatever. That ain't real.
Yes.
That's not sincere. But when it is sincere, when it's polished, and you feel that thing, it makes you want to draw close, or it makes you want to what? Repeat. And some of us, we're wondering, okay, why is stuff so hard for me? Why is stuff so tough within the relationship? Because you're unappreciative. What do you want to do for that child that you look at and you feel like they're spoiled? Now, we won't even get into all the reasonings behind the spoilage. But when you have that sense that they feel like they're privileged and all this stuff, no, I don't appreciate what you're doing. You're supposed to do this for me. You want to take everything you've ever given them and be like, hey, yeah, start appreciating stuff now. You going to school with socks, your drawers, and a t-shirt.
Jesus. Jesus.
To get them to understand that the things they have, it doesn't have to be that way. That is not everybody's experience. You appreciate who you have in your life,
Yes.
because everybody doesn't have these, and I'm going to say it like this, these positive influences, people, relationships,
Yes.
marriages.
Yes.
Appreciate them.
Yes.
There is nobody else like your spouse, because I know there's nobody else like my spouse. I deem her irreplaceable. And I can say that with a straight face, because how she's gone to bat for me, how she's been consistent in my tomfoolery, how she's dealt with me and just continued to love me, how she stood up for me, how she supported me, how she's endorsed me, how she has been and had my back, how she has stood up for me, how she's defended me, how she's covered me, how she's protected me, how she's even come back when it's like, okay, you out of pocket and we need to get this straight. How she's talked with me, how she's loved me. And I truly appreciate her for who she is, especially in those moments when things aren't at their best.
Yes. Yes.
When I'm not at my best.
Yes.
When it's like I'm denying, okay, I'm not hearing from God right now because right now I'm in my emotions or I'm in my flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? Yeah, trying to hear anything that's going on right now, I'm not there. But still consistent to deal with me, consistent to help me, consistent to enable me and encourage me to get it right. Because especially when somebody's in the wrong, it's easy to condemn and leave them there.
Yes.
But to love them out of it,
yes, come
you
on.
break chains and shackles.
Come on, babe. Come on. Yes.
And this is a perfect segue. Turn over to Esther 5. I wasn't even sure if I was going to get into scripture. That's why nothing's posted. But Esther, the 5th chapter. And we have to understand the influence upon the heart that we have, because the other thing is, especially when you're married, believe it or not, regardless of where things are, you have that person's heart.
Mm-hmm.
They view you in a way that they don't view any other person. Now, even if things aren't at their best, you still have a special place within them.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take a look, and we're going to deeply analyze, but quickly, deeply analyze this situation that's set up here in Esther, the 5th chapter. So yes, this is after Esther has come off her fast. Key point number 1. When you're going into a difficult situation, it is okay to seek God for answers.
Yes.
And if you really want to significantly change something, fast for your mate, fast for your family, fast for your household, fast. And watch God speak. So at the end of the 4th chapter, we know that she went on a fast. She went on a complete fast. And not only did she fast, she said her maidens were going to fast with her.
Mm-hmm.
So she got back up and support, and whether they wanted to or not, you know what? We all fasted. Y'all ain't going to eat nothing, touch no food, no nothing for 3 days. I don't care what you had planned. No. So here we go. We're going to start at verse 2 and read through verse 6. Verse 6. So here we go. Coming out of the King James. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. Now we're going to stop right there, because the thing is, without an invitation, she was taking her life into her hands. She could easily have been deemed worthy of death. That's how much. And here's the thing. We have to respect one another. That's another form of appreciation. When your mate, you know they have something to do. Respect what it is that's not the time. okay, they got something to do for the job, and they tell you from this time to this time, I have some work to do, or I have to focus on this, or they're in school and they've got classwork that they have to do, or they have to go to class and maybe the class is online, so they're still in the house. It is disrespectful to ask them or expect them to put down something that they know that they need to do, which is actually going to be profitable to the home. And you just expect them, well, you know, no, you're telling them what you have to do, what you're saying, what's going on with you right now is unimportant.
Yes.
So drop that, put it down, and do what I'm requesting.
Yes.
No, respect.
Yeah.
That is in the line of appreciation. Respect their time, respect their efforts. And if they're having sometimes difficulty with a situation, respect the fact that maybe they need a little space. They don't need to be drummed over the head. Hey, 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 hey. It's that old, it's a namanism. And I call it the Dino effect, where there's a matter or something to deal with. I remember. What am I going to do with that? You're hounding the person. And they feel like they're being hounded. Secret, when you're dealing with men, guess what the number one thing they want? Peace. Sometimes that means peace and quiet. Yeah. Now, it sounds funny, but simply, men are simple that way. Sometimes it's just, you know what? I play the game because I want to drown out the noise. This silences everything. Or I turn on music because it drowns out the noise. It helps me to move from a place of anger and anguish to something else. It helps me release from my frustrations. So sometimes, especially for men, that's why they turn to certain things. What helps them to decompress from whatever has them wound so tightly, that's what they'll turn to. Because sometimes they just need a minute to just breathe. Yeah. So when you're pushing, you're not helping them to cope and to deal, which essentially just frustrates the situation even more. So consider, sometimes it's okay to just give them a minute. Now, a minute might be a couple hours. It may be a day. I'm not saying completely diminish it, forget about it and just act like it never happened. No. But sometimes you need to walk away from a situation so you can return to the situation. Because in that moment, you may not get the type of response that you want. So sometimes it's best to allow them or yourself to just walk away, to move away. Because when people feel enough pressure, as Sheila likes to say, pressure busts pipes. What's going to pop as a result of too much pressure? And then once it's popped, are we ready to deal with what comes next? No. There's a biblical term. It's called paraclete. That's the whirlwind. Are you ready to reap the whirlwind when you put too much pressure on your mate, on your spouse, shoot, on your kids? Yeah, that's good. Come on. So, as they used to say back when it was in the 80s and everybody had your VHS, let's be kind and rewind. Back up. Is it so essential that you have to have a resolve and an answer that very moment, that instant? Can we just sometimes just pump the brakes, ease up, and just... Oh, Jesus. So let's get back into the word here. So, and again, verse 2, favor, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. So she struck a pose, and it was a place of surrender. She wasn't standing like with her hands on her hip, like, what you gonna do? No, she struck a pose of submission.
Yeah.
Appreciation means to, at some point in time, submit to one another. And it's not about, and this is where issues come up. Well, I'm the man. You're supposed to submit to me.
Yeah.
It's a equal yielding.
Yes.
How do you feel when your boss comes up to you? Oh, I'm the boss. You got to do whatever I say. You feel like that's not right. So why should you do that to your mate? Let me help you. That's an abuse of power and authority. And things that you abuse, you end up damaging. Yeah, beat your car up long enough. See if it runs the same. Beat that washer and that dryer up too much. See if it runs the same. Wear your spouse out and beat them up mentally, physically. Shoot, in some cases socially, because people respond so much on social media. Yeah, beat them up, wear them out that way so much, and see what begins to happen with your relationship. Why is stuff so bad? Why is stuff so toxic? Why is it? Look at your actions.
Yeah.
What are you leaving them with?
Yes.
How are you making them feel?
Yes.
So she came and she submitted. Now watch what this does. Verse 4, or excuse me, verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request? It shall be given thee to half the kingdom. So now he submits. He's willing to give her partnership and equal status, half the kingdom. He's like, the kingdom's mine, but half of everything I have, you can request it right now and it's yours. Now, she could have got totally selfish at this point. But he said, to half of everything that I have, I'm willing to put it in your hands right now. She submitted. He submitted. Verse 5, or verse 4, excuse me. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. Now, the banquet was prepared for the king, but she wanted Haman to take part. So notice it said prepared for him. Who him? King. Mm-hmm. King Ahasuerus. Mm-hmm. So the banquet is, and notice this, when we get into verse 5, then the king said, come Haman, make haste, that he may do as Esther hath said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. It wasn't later. This was immediate. He said, tell Haman, get his butt in here, because she has taken the time and the effort to prepare a banquet for me. And she's honoring the king and Haman to allow them to partake. It's already prepared. When was the last time that you prepared something for your mate in appreciation? Jesus. You made arrangements. You planned it out. You put it together. And all they had to do was come and partake. Well, come on, see, a lot of times in our relationships, we don't understand. We want to get. We don't want to give. Mm-hmm. And we take each other for granted. Yes. Willingness to share, willingness to give, willingness to do. Yes. Yeah. But we don't want to take that into consideration. She gave, he gave. Now she's giving again. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not missing this opportunity. Tell Haman, get in here and get in here now. Do you know how close he felt to Esther in this moment? Not even taking into consideration the fact of what Vashti did. She withheld herself. So he's like, okay, go ahead. Lock her up. Lock her up and don't let her out. nobody's going to see you again. Because I'm going to share something else with you concerning men. When they feel like the one that they're with is desirable, yes, we like to show you off. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. When we think you's a bad mamma jamma, we gonna take you out so others can see this here. This is mine. This is with me. Oh yeah, y'all think it's funny, but I am very serious. Look at my face and my eyes right now. Yes, like to show you off. The bow, pow, boom. Yes. Because this is not yours. This you can't have. This, her, mine, with me. Forget it, over, done. No time for you. Mine alone.
Yes, I am.
Not to be shared.
Yes, Lord.
So, yes, men, we are like that. You ask your husband. Ask your husband. Ask a male friend. That's a truth. I've already given you my answer. So, yes, even those with the best, doesn't matter. They love you. They want to put you in your best and let you be seen in your best. Because to them, guess what? You look good. And they want other people to know that too. Moving on. And so verse 6, and the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom, it shall be performed. Look at this man. He got the vapors. He is wide open. Why? He feels appreciated. He feels appreciated. Can you look that up? He feels appreciated. So he's ready to freely give. She doesn't have to make a request now. He's put it to her once. And she said, okay, here's what I want. I want to do something for you. Hold on. I just asked, what do you desire? And you just said, I want to do something nice. I want to do something special for you. And not only do I want to do it, it's done. Do you know what kind of walls you break?
Jesus.
Do you know what kind of installation you put within their heart when you do something of that regard? Yes. You can totally take somebody out of a place. I don't care what the king was doing before this, but I know that as a result of this, his mind was on one thing. I want to return the way she's making me feel to her. That's why he keeps coming back. What do you want? Woman, just tell me, what do you want? What do you want? I'll make it happen. Where you have me right now, I'm not thinking about no bills. I'm not thinking about neighbors. I'm not thinking about work. I'm thinking about you and what I can do for you. So right now, tell me, what do you want? I'm not worried about the kingdom. I'm not worried about other men and other people. I don't worry about what they have scheduled or planned for me. My itinerary is totally blown up because right now, what do you want? It's going to happen. It's going to get done. And for couples, here's a key. Appreciation. And you show them appreciation. You show them respect. You show them care. You show them concern. And you do it in true sincerity, integrity of the heart and the mind. Do you know what you do for them? Yes. You can strip away hurt as a result of showing appreciation. You can remove years. Let me help you. What does the Bible say? Perfect love casteth off fear. And what does love also do? Love leads to forgiveness. And if I appreciate you, I'm willing to forgive and release past hurt. Because if I don't get over it, I'm going to stay entangled in it. And if I don't let it go, guess what? I'm creating debt for myself. Yes, unforgiveness creates and generates debt because Christ already paid the price. I can't repay that price. I'm not meant to. Honestly, I'm not capable. He already paid it.
Yes, come on.
So it's not for me to take on that debt anymore.
Come on.
All I have to do is forgive.
Come on.
And it'll be forgiven.
Yes.
He didn't say possibly. He didn't say maybe. He said forgive and it shall be forgiven.
Yes. Yes.
So what right have I to hang something over her head? If I say that I love her, that I appreciate her, and I'm not willing to put that same weight, that same debt, that same curse over myself, because actually that's what I'm doing.
Jesus.
But this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Why should I be willing to beat her down, wear her out, extinguish the heart that she has for me because I have to prove a point? Where is the love in that? Where's the concern in that?
Yeah.
Where's the appreciation in that?
Yes.
Again, is it a draw or is it a push? What are we attempting to do? And really, where do we want to go? Sometimes we have to keep our eyes focused on the end more than we do the now. Because sometimes the now is like those pennies. You pick them up and you put them before your eyes, so all you see is what's right now, and you lose track of what is the end goal. The end goal is to have a sound marriage. The end goal is to be one. The end goal is to have a household that is building and encouraging and going somewhere. That love is the ultimate gift that we can share with one another.
Yes.
And problems and situations will make us lose our focus of those facts.
Yeah.
And so we start missing it because we're looking at individual situations and we're looking at them so hard, so tightly, so densely that we can't see anything beyond what's happening to us right now.
Yes.
And then because we get caught up in emotions, and another name-ism, your emotions will betray you because there's nothing you can do to satisfy them.
Yes.
Haven't you been happy and you just get happier? And then you can even get happier, or you get sad and you get sadder, more upset, depressed. So your emotions, honestly, they're not concerned about you. They just want to feel. And the more they can feel, the more they want to feel. And you just going along for the ride.
Yeah.
So let's appreciate
Yes.
each other for each other. One of the other worst things we can do is compare. What would have happened to the king in the moment that Esther comes before him and he starts comparing her to Vashti? When she makes the request and he compares her to Vashti.
Yes.
How unfair is it that she has to deal with the frustration, the hurt that was generated from a past relationship because you decided not to let it go? What opportunities are we killing because we refuse to let stuff go? We won't free people from their faults.
Ooh, Lord forgive us. Wow. Yeah.
And in our eyes, you know what? I can't look at you ever differently because I remember this situation.
Mhm.
Unforgiveness is bitterness,
Mm.
and it never goes away.
Yes.
The thing is, it begins to fester inside you
Mhm.
like a disease, like a cancer, until it spreads and it totally consumes. So every time you see that person, everything just shuts down.
Wow.
So let me help you. Forgiveness is for you,
Mm.
for your health, your mental health, your spiritual health, shoot, your physical health.
Yeah.
Because when we hold on to that stuff, it knots us up. And now what does that create? That creates pressure on the brain, pressure on the heart, stress within the body. Sometimes people have had pains in different parts and areas of the body just due to stress, but it's emotional stress, not physical strain. But it can all still wear you out,
Yeah.
which eventually will take you
Yes.
out.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Put it in God's hands. Put them in God's hands. You didn't create them.
Mm.
Yes, you have a responsibility to each other,
Mm.
but you're not God.
Yes.
So it's not always for you to try and be the end all of every single situation, the dictator that dictates how things are going to be.
Mm. Oh, yes.
Give it to God and be ready to hear and receive instruction. So you know the best course of action to deal
Yes.
with whom you've been given,
Mhm.
so you can really have what you want. Esther shared and gave and got what she wanted. But at the same time, it just kept drawing him closer to the point that he was ready and willing to defend her with everything. Not only provide her with everything, but cover her from anything. So every threat,
Yes.
we gonna not only take care of it, we're gonna try and annihilate it. We're gonna try and totally eliminate it. We're gonna try and destroy it down to the molecular level. That's exceptional defense.
Yes. Lord.
Sheeta, you got some definitions for us? It's dun, 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 dun. Define time with Rashida. How y'all like that? How y'all like that? Yeah. Go ahead and see what you got to share. What you got to share.
So quickly, I want to do this really quick as we are wrapping up, bringing this to a close. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hello and welcome to everyone. Thank you. We are here every other Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll get to the being a guest and all of those good things here later, but appreciate Webster's 1828 says, to value, to set a price or value on, to estimate as we to estimate, to raise the value of. And then also I wanted to go over, I have it here, appreciation, recognition, and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something, a full understanding of a situation. That right there, I'm going to park it on that right there. So, yeah. Appreciation in the Webster says a feeling of being grateful, awareness or understanding of worth or value. And naming, you were sharing earlier, try to do this quickly. You were just basically talking about how we will abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we do not know the purpose or understand the purpose of someone or something, we abuse it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
And we respond with fear.
Mm.
Because when we don't understand something, we feel like it's out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
Fear will make you do all kinds of negative things.
Yes.
We'll put it like that.
Yes.
And I just quickly, as she was giving this definition, it just popped up again. And awareness, gratefulness. Gratefulness is another term for thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciated or appreciation is not in the Bible, not in the King James. But when you talk about Thanksgiving, the song from some years ago, Shabbat,
Mm-hmm.
and in the verse, it talked about Toda, which is the Hebrew for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Extend the hands.
Yeah.
So it's extend the hands like to yield or to give.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And just looking real quick at the definition for Toda, it's an extension of the hand that is by implication a vowel, making a vow,
Mm-hmm.
or usually adoration, specifically a choir of worshipers, confession, sacrifice, praise, thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So let's appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's elevate.
Yes.
Elevate our relationships. Elevate one another. Let that person know that, you know what? You are special to me. And I appreciate the life that we have together.
Yes. Me too.
And it's only getting better.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Yes.
Convey that to one another.
Yeah.
Share that with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Put some hope in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And give each other, I'm going to put it like this, give each other 15 minutes. 15 minutes of some feel good. I don't want one negative statement in that 15 minutes. Oh, you do such a good job, but no, get the butt and your butt out the way. The B-U-T and the B-U-T-T. Get them both out the way. Let it be a time of reflection that creates just a positive and warm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Let that be the place that you find. And I guarantee you, if you make it positive, 15 minutes, you will scare away, you will chase away some of that hurt, some of that pain, some of that negative affecting that has been transpiring within your relationship.
Yeah.
You move it. 15 minutes can start to chisel into that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes all it takes is just a consistent flow or drops of water to break a rock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just consistency. Shoot, if you just take 5 minutes every day and just tell them how much you appreciate them before they go out the door,
Mm-hmm.
when they come home from work, just coming together and just letting them know, I love you.
I love you too.
You good.
Yes, you are.
Start to lose that PG-13 rating.
Just real quick, I wanted to because it came back up. So when Naaman was talking about close this down. When Naaman was talking about how like just with your mace, basically he was saying wide open. It was just so on me, and I was hearing it and it came back up. That is not the time, ladies. This is for men too, but ladies, that is not the time to be manipulative. I was hearing Delilah to try to suck the life out of him. That is not the time for manipulation, deception, control. That is what we do not do. So I just want to put it out there because, yeah, some people do that and take advantage. And if we have found ourselves in that place, let's just repent and ask God to forgive us and to help us not to be a Delilah, if you will. And there's some other names that I could say, or to be deceptive, manipulative, and controlling in our spouses' lives, because that is not of God. As man. All right.
So with that, again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell.
Yes.
Just thank you for your support.
Yes.
And before we do go, I do want to mention that my tie, which has been kind of all over the place on me today, but yet still, I appreciate my son. He picked out my tie today.
Aww.
So I wanted to go ahead and make mention of that. So growing and developing the relationship and allowing him to suggest and recommend, hey, Dad, why don't you wear this tie today? Okay, we'll give it a shot, see how it looks. So yet still, again, appreciation.
Yeah.
It doesn't always take a big gesture,
Yeah.
but just something from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, God bless. We love you. Appreciate one another. Let it truly come up and come through. Seen, heard, and felt. And until next time, God bless.